everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, October the 16th. It's race number 7 at Keeneland. A little bit of a turf marathon, mile and a half, second level allowance for some nice older horses. Before we take a look at the field, remember DRFTV viewers still have a chance to get 10% off all their DRF past performances. The offer expires October the 26th. Shop now by accessing the QR code on the screen and use the coupon code DRFTV10. Here's the field for race number 7 at Keeneland on Wednesday. Remember to access free formulator past performances on the race of the day event page at DRF.com. This is a pretty wide open group, Mike. You've got 6- the number 5 for Todd Pletcher, dropping back down into the allowance ranks after running in a couple of long distance stakes.
Yeah, and he's one of the horses in here, Dan. You don't have to worry about distance with him, so I guess that's a positive on his side. You know, the 11 is 9-2 on the morning line, coming in good form. The 10 or the 12 rather is 7-2 on the line. Another horse who can get the distance, but I'll be honest, Dan, I don't think I'd take too short a price on anybody in this field.
I think that's very fair. 12 in the body of the race, the 13 Greystone on the also eligible list. Let's take a look at the time form US pace projector. We usually don't expect a lot of pace in these marathon turf events, and I don't see a ton of speed in here. The 8, the Prince's Spur, just came from off the pace to win a shorter distance race on dirt. It's your guess as to how well he's going to transfer that form to the grass and whether he'll show a little bit of early speed. I guess the 11, I'd rather be blessed, has shown some tactical speed, Mike. I think he's got to get hustled out of there.
I think he'll be one of the horses going forward. I can see, some of the horses drawn towards the inside as well, Dan. I thought the number 5, I thought 5- or 6- or actually the 5, who they have towards the back on the pace projector, has been showing a little more speed in his recent races, and we know he's a turf horse. I feel like they just have the 8 up there because the pace projector just takes into account their recent races, Dan. He's been running on dirt. Those races are generally run at faster paces.
I think if Golden Eye can get to the lead, Flavien Prat's going to take it. He went wire to wire last time out at Kentucky Downs, and this horse has shown a little bit of tactical speed. Pratt knows what to do in these sort of situations. I think he'll try to get to the front with that horse. And maybe the Win Twist, getting blinkers for the first time in a long time, will try it. The question is whether Win Twist is good enough. He did it the board in 4 consecutive races at Belterra Park against much weaker. They ran him at Kentucky Downs last time out. It didn't work out. He's tactical. He'll probably be in the first or second flight in the early stages of this race, but 30-1 on the morning line for a reason.
Yeah, I can see him getting at least the right kind of trip in here. That's for sure. The real question though is, is he even close to good enough? And it kind of seems like he isn't.
Both of the number 2 Fortune Sellers lifetime victories came over the Tapeta surface at Presque Isle Downs. They tried him in the Presque Isle Mile last time out. It was a little bit too tough for him, and he really didn't fire his best shot. 2 starts back, he rallied from off the pace, going a mile and a 16th. His turf races, to me, just failed to inspire.
Yeah, I didn't like his turf form either. We'll see if, stretching all the way out makes any kind of a difference for him, Dan. I suppose it's possible. He's by Kitten's Joy, so you don't really worry about distance with those horses, but he doesn't really have, a ton on the bottom of this pedigree to suggest he's going to be really good stretching out.
When there are $200,000 allowance races, you can take a chance and stretch a horse out in distance, and that's what Peter Urton did with the 3 Golden Eye in this race at Kentucky Downs, going a mile and a half, and Golden Eye popped right to the front, kept right on going under Pratt, seemed to really relish the distance, seemed to really relish Kentucky Downs. And there's always a fear that horses like this are just simply a Kentucky Downs move up, but he's in good form, he handles the trip, and he has some tactical speed.
Yeah, listen, maybe that's just the main takeaway, right? That that he can get a mile and a half, and sometimes in these races that's half the battle. But I still, wouldn't want to bet him off of that race that we just watched, Dan. And then you go back to his other turf races. I don't want to bet him off of any of those either.
There are some things to like about the 4 right here, right now. He's very lightly raced. It's possible we haven't seen his best. He's coming into this race in pretty good form after a couple of wins in the Mid-Atlantic region, one in New Jersey at Monmouth, one at Delaware Park, and he goes out for a very astute trainer in Michael Stidham. So they're going to stretch him out in distance. It's really all about, A, can he take the necessary step forward, and B, can he handle this trip?
Yeah, a lot of questions here, but maybe you'll get a really fair price. And, as we move down, we're going to move down this field in a minute here, Dan, and get to some of the shorter prices. I don't know who you're supposed to be really afraid of in this field. If you feel like this horse can stretch out, I guess that's fine, and you can take a shot with him. I don't love that they had to drop him in Class 2 back to get the maiden win.
6 minus is the number 5, and distance is going to be no problem for this horse. He finished a very close third in the 2 mile 8 Challenge Jerkins Memorial back towards the end of 2023. He's been kind of tough in his last couple of races. The Kentucky Downs race, I don't really, again, put too much stock in the 2 mile and a 16th Nashville Gold Cup. The race 2 starts back. He chased a gate to wire winner all the way around through glacial fractions. He ran okay at Saratoga 3 starts back, last on the rail, turning for home, grinded his way up for a minor award.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have really anything to add to that, Dan. The race at Saratoga 3 back is fine. I thought ultimately he got a great trip in that race. And the 1-2 finishers, they're both pretty good horses, and he just couldn't really threaten them. And listen, what he's done since then, I don't even know what to make of it. He was never going to win the most recent start against those horses. And 2 starts back, the Johns Call was a terrible race, and he just sat second around the track and really didn't do anything.
Cyber Ninja outran his big odds last time out at Kentucky Downs when finishing ahead of 6 minus in that Nashville Gold Cup. His prior races are just merely okay, however. An off-turf winner back in May, going 1.25 miles. I'm not sure how great that field was. A couple of spots at Saratoga, though. The first one, I thought he ran fine. The second one, not as impressed.
Yeah, it hurts me to hear you talk about this horse like that, Dan, because there was a time last year where I really felt like there was a chance there was a small chance he was going to turn out to be pretty good for Mott, and I was looking forward to him getting into longer distance turf races this year and seeing what he could do. And for whatever reason, it just hasn't really happened for him yet. That being said, he's probably double-digit odds in here. I think he will get this distance. I think this is the right kind of spot for this horse. I'm using him somewhere. I really want to like him more than I actually do, but I'm using him somewhere.
The 7 is King Curl, and he's dropping into the allowance ranks for the first time since New Year's Day at Gulfstream Park when he took a first-level race, going 1.5 miles. He ran pretty well that day, got a pretty good trip, saving ground, was able to sneak into the pocket on the third turn, but he got to the outside, and he grinded down the field in the manner of a horse that really appreciated the extra distance. They've put him in stakes in his last 4 tries with sort of middling results, but I think this class drop is something he's going to really appreciate.
Yeah, and such a significant one, right? I mean, it's one of those things where, and he's another horse in this field who, we'll talk about some of the others who you don't really worry about the distance with. I think he is one of those, but and for some reason, he's not as short a price as several of those other horses. So that he's got that going for him. I'll wait and see what kind of price he is, because I'm not totally sold on him. And I really only like the class relief. That's really the only thing I like about him. But, at that 8-1 price on the money line, I won't argue too hard.
The Princess Spur is the number 8, and this is the Michael Maker MO, isn't it? You claim a horse, you switch surfaces, you stretch him all the way out in distance, and they usually make hay. He has an uncanny record with horses like this. The Princess Spur has only raced once in his life on turf. It was way back in his second lifetime start. Listen, that's the angle if you like this horse. It's Maker. Maybe he can get close to the pace and switching surfaces. Turf pedigree?
Yeah, I mean, I love the Cairo Princes on the grass, and he is out of a Giants Causeway dam. It's really more, at least the performance on the dam side is mostly dirt horses, but I really feel like this horse is going to handle the turf, Dan, because you mentioned there's only one turf start, and he ran fine in that race. It was a slow pace, really fast late in there. He was trying to gain ground in his second career start, and they've tried to get him on turf several times in his career, and it just kept getting rained off. And to me, he's one of those horses who just ran well enough on dirt. They just kept him on it, but I won't be surprised when he switches surfaces here. 4 Maker stretches out and really, really handles it.
Event detail, the number 9 is all upside for a red-hot trainer in Will Walden. He's going to be switching to the turf for the first time in his career, but he's done good work on dirt. He's done good work on synthetic, and he might be racing himself back into his best shape for his third race off of a healthy layoff.
Yeah, I wonder what we're going to get here. I think this is one of the wild cards in here, and he's a pretty interesting one too. He to me has enough turf pedigree here to handle this surface switch, and you're right, he's run fine on dirt a couple of times, but it's his races when they switched him over to the all-weather early last year. To me, he ran really, really well in both of those starts. I think he's going to handle this surface switch. He's going to be a price in this race, and I found enough pedigree to suggest that he can get a little bit of distance too.
Mendelssohn's March, the number 10, was really treated like a good horse by Kenny McPeek last year. It was one tough spot after another, and he did earn a stakes placing at Churchill Downs, going 1 1/8 miles. They laid him up over the winter. He came back as a new gelding. The first race didn't go very well at Saratoga, but I guess he had the built-in excuse of the layoff, and slowly he's been taking middling steps forward. They put blinkers on at Kentucky Downs last time out. He ran a little bit better. To me, this is the kind of horse that needs a little bit of pace help.
He really does. That's true. Yeah, he makes enough sense in here, Dan, that he's not one of the horses that I totally dismissed in here. I do think he can win. My problem with him is, I first of all, I don't think he's going to be a great price in here. I really didn't like. He kept good company as a 3-year-old, but I didn't really like any of his races last year. And you pointed out off the layoff at Saratoga this year, that was a race where it looked like he really needed it. And I thought he would really move forward in his next couple of starts. I haven't seen him do that.
No, I agree. I really thought he needed that race off the layup, but we'll see. Perhaps getting to Keeneland, Mendelssohn's March will find his MO. I'd Rather Be Blessed is up next, a horse with tactical speed that seems to appreciate these longer distances. They stretched him out to 1.25 miles, 2 starts back. He got right up close to a pretty solid pace, and he kept on going. That was the breakthrough performance for him, and he kept up with them at Kentucky Downs last time out. 90 Beyer speed figure and a second level allowance. He's tactical. He could be in front turning for home. I just can't take this horse at 9-2. I just don't see the edge he has over this field. But as we take a look at I'd Rather Be Blessed, he looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, I mean, he runs well in this race. I'm with you, Dan. You sort of pointed out my reservations too. He's in really good form heading into this race, and he can get the distance. So he's not difficult to make a case for. I still question how good he actually is. And he's one of the horses in here who's not going to be a great price. And I just don't really want a short price on anybody in this field.
Better Bet figures to take some money. The number 12 was a winner 2 starts back at Saratoga. Rad Ortiz was very patient with this horse, just settled him at the back of the pack, let the pace develop in front, and he came with a strong kick to knock them down in the stretch. Second level allowance last time out. He was in that I'd Rather Be Blessed race we just saw. He finished 4th that day. He's a horse that doesn't have I'd Rather Be Blessed's tactical speed, but I think he kicks stronger and has more upside. He's also going to be a short price.
Gets the distance. There's no doubt about that. He is a good finisher. I would just point out that the race 2 starts back when he won over 11 furlongs at Saratoga, it may not look like it on paper. That was a very solid pace for that kind of a race. It was a closer's race. He took advantage a little bit and he got the job done. He ran fine last time. Another horse I just didn't really want a short price on.
And the also eligible, the 13 Greystone, would be a contender if he gets into this race. He just won at 1.5 miles last time out, although that was weaker company at Woodbine. He had a very good tactical trip that day. I wonder if he can get that sort of trip from this post, even with all the time needed to get a spot.
Yeah, it seems like maybe he would have enough time to get forward. I wouldn't, totally, dismiss his chances if he got in, but I can't say that I loved him.
Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for Wednesday race of the day, event detail, Mike, the number 9. This is a horse that just is unexposed on the turf. Distance seems to be what he wants. They've always had high hopes for him. I think he's all upside.
Yeah, me too. That's why I took him. I think he's really interested on the surface switch. And again, I just don't really want the short prices in here. That sent me looking for horses at better prices. I thought he was interesting. Listen, I had to throw Cyber Ninja in there. I almost put him on top. I remain a fan of his. I think he's interesting in here. I'll wait and see what kind of price he is.
I think the class relief could be key for the 7 King Curlin, who was 4th at a big price in the Grade 2 Elkhorn during the Keeneland Spring Meet, so we know he runs well over this surface. Getting Lasix back on again could also be key for the 7 King Curlin. 9-6-5-10 for Mike, 7-5-12-6 for me. Demand a price in the Wednesday race of the day. It's the 7th at Keeneland. Good luck. Hey, let me give you a hot tip. If you liked the content that you've seen before, click on the like and subscribe button right here. And of course, for more DRF videos like Race of the Days, Stakes previews, click on the videos right here.